It's a different kind of Canada Day this year. This episode may be triggering for some viewers, so please, if you are Indigenous and struggling, call the National Indian Residential School Crisis Line. So instead of the originally planned Canada Day episode, I want to pause to acknowledge the tragedy of Canada's past, their unsuccessful genocide and our First Nations people, for the children lost to mass graves and while fleeing back to their homes, and for the survivors who live with this trauma daily. If you're one of my Canadian viewers, please speak with others about this, stand with our Indigenous communities, listen to their stories, and if you are able to, please donate to support. At the very least, use the links in the description to further understand the horrific realities of our Canadian past. If you're one of my international viewers, please know that Canada is still an amazing place to live, but many of us were unaware of the tragedy of generations of First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children stolen from their homes and forced into residential schools where far too many died. For those who survived, they live daily with the trauma and abuse experienced. The Canadian government as well as the Church are being pressured to share the full truth of their horrific actions with all Canadians, because while our Indigenous communities were telling us their truths, we didn't listen until the first of many mass graves of children were found, and Canada's history of genocide became undisputable, common knowledge. This is one of the 139 residential schools created in Canada to kill the Indian in the child, and they ran for around 117 years. Canadian law mandated that children as young as 4 must attend the residential schools, and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police forcibly removed children from families. The Bryce Report dated 1907 reported a 40 to 60% mortality rate, and 90 to 100% of children suffered severe abuse. Even with this report conducted by the government's Department of Indian Affairs, the schools remained open for another 90 years. Today, I'm pausing for the children who didn't make it home, for those who had to endure the residential schools, and for those who are grieving. Every child matters.